Welcome back to another episode of Willpower, the podcast where we talk about the untold stories. And today we have with us Maryam.
Oh,
Hello, Maryam.
I always say salamlar. That's the way we say hi in Azerbaijani, so that brings me luck.
Okay, how do you say that again?
Salamlar.
Salamlar.
It's like salam.
Yeah?
It's the international word, I guess, for many countries, but I add lar, and I think it's not even in dictionary, but in all my, usually my speech, I always say salamlar.
Okay, salamlar then. Good. Thank you very much for being here today.
Oh, you're
I'm so happy that you accepted this invitation because I remember last conversation we had. It was you inspired me so much after that meeting we had that I was like, I really want to have Mariam here with me on my podcast.
cute.
So before we even start on everything, please tell me what does willpower means to you?
Power. It,
Willpower.
willpower.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for me, it's to be brave and like to continue doing, and it's also an inspiration, and just to create your next step with excitement and always be fearless, brave, and also optimistic about the things that are going to happen to you, and obviously to always to use your power in the right way and in right to the right sources, to the right people, to the right energies, because it's all in our hands.
Yeah. So you will say being brave, being positive,
And fearless.
and fearless. I love it.
That's my three favorite words.
Okay. Brave, positive, fearless.
Yes, and also I guess yourself
And be yourself. Okay.
with all of this.
I mean, being yourself is a very important part of just achieving anything in life. You know, when you try to be someone else, at the end you don't really shine with your own light, and then that's very hard then to achieve anything in the future. Anyway, I'm really like so excited, and then I can't wait to ask you this question, which of course, with your permission, if I can share it with the audience about our last encounter in London.
In the tube.
In the tube, exactly.
We bumped each other in Jubilee line.
Exactly. I was going home, you were going home, and then suddenly we just bump into each other. And then you told me something so inspiring. You say that you have a dream.
Yeah,
Okay.
so many.
Could you please tell? I mean, so many. Okay, the main dream, the one that we spoke about.
About supporting the disability community.
Yes.
I think the day that we met, I've been actually going through some conversations regarding my disability and cleft palate, which is a bit unknown, and I'd like to share with people and support also the community itself. And it was on my mind, and that's why I've shared that specific dream with you, because I have a bunch of dreams, but obviously I have top five, which is this one is in top five.
Okay.
I was born with cleft palate.
Okay, but what actually is the cleft palate?
So cleft palate is this formation of the lips, and you can born. It's not something genetic. You can just born with that by chance, and I think 1 in 800,000. I don't know how to give wrong information. Are born with this, and it's treatable, and it's just it requires some surgeries, but in some parts of the world it's still really unknown. Today in today's medicine it's getting better, but when I was born 20 and more years like ago, it was completely unknown in Azerbaijan because they didn't have much cases, so they had no idea how to deal with it, and it was a bit complicated before for kids, for parents also to navigate the whole process. So yeah, it's something that you're born with as a physical disability,
Okay.
and for the first couple of months, if you don't have the right treatment, unfortunately can have some difficulties. But if it's under the right navigation of doctors and professionals, it's easily treated and easily you can easily go through it until the child turns 1 year old. But everything should be done at right time and in the right way, because we are talking about appearance, and it's something that is visual. Obviously, we are all different, and I think this the visual part adds uniqueness and authenticity to people, which
Yes.
I always say. Like, I've done the medical surgeries, but I've never done the cosmetological ones because some people today, when they are adults, they decide to completely remove it, which is completely possible and easily done in today's world. But for me, if I was born like that, I want to skip it because it makes me feel different and feel different for myself, and also to show that to other, not just other kids who were born with this, but to anyone who has a physical disability, that it's okay to have some asymmetry or to look a bit different than everyone. So it's fun. So yeah, basically, it's something that you go through, and it's a long process of treatment, surgeries, and medication, medicine, hospitals. But at the end of the day, it all gets sorted.
Okay.
Yeah,
And you said that you were born in Azerbaijan,
I was born in Israel, in Baku.
in Baku.
Yeah.
I have the feeling that you love that place because every time that I see you, you actually say Baku at least 10 times.
I know. I know. Everyone says that whenever they see me, I was like, "How's Azerbaijan?" As I'm responsible for everything culturally,
Yeah.
because I share lots of cultural side of the country. I mean, I'm not a politician. I'm not a diplomat. I'm just a person who is passionate about it and been supported by actually the official organizations from over in Azerbaijan and the UK to keep doing it, because in today's day, social medias, they play a huge role. And I think if 10 years ago BBC could reach millions, now individual platform, social media, Instagram, TikTok, whatever people use can reach big amounts of people. And that's what I've done. I've used the social media to share interesting facts, stories, people, cultural traditions with the world about where I'm coming from, because I feel like where I'm coming from, it's nowadays it's known and people already have an idea about Azerbaijan, but it's always a good idea to give some more additional information, because they might know the capital, they might know the city, they might know the bit of history and about the industries that are highlighted about Azerbaijan, but the factor, human factor, it's still a bit unknown. So to give a first impression of Azerbaijani, it's my mission. Like I'm trying to be responsible about that, because if you're from such a country, you're ambassador for yourself.
Yeah, of
You're
course.
whenever you meet someone, you represent the entire 9 million, and that's why what I always say to all my Azerbaijani followers, that guys, we need to be really careful, and we need to be ourselves, and we need to show us, because we are building an opinion in the new people we meet about our country, about our people, based on what we're gonna give them, what we're gonna bring onto the table. So we should bring into the table entire
Yeah, entire
thing.
everything you have.
Exactly.
And can you please tell us a bit more about Azerbaijan? Because clearly, I heard about Azerbaijan thanks to you, and also I love traveling. I haven't been traveling to Azerbaijan for sure, but just checking in the map, I can see that it's positioned like towards East Europe, and yeah, I don't know much about that.
Of
If you wanna
course.
share a bit more with us.
So Azerbaijan is located on Caucasus. We are in the Caucasian Mountains. We call Kafkas, and Azerbaijan being part of former Soviet Union before until early 90s, and then when Azerbaijan became the independent republic, uh, it's completely separated from Soviet Union, and it's formed it's itself was the obviously was the former leader who unfortunately passed, is the Haidar Aliyev, who actually made it as it is today, and now it's still the same family is keep creating the today's Azerbaijan, which is a beautiful place to live because of its geographical location and the rich history and the culture. Azerbaijan goes back with its history. It's gone through a lot. We've been through many empires in the past, but it's managed to keep keep its authenticity in a sense of all the cultures like we've built. We have our own culture, we have our own language, we have our own traditions, and we have our own uh, we have our own soul. We when people ask me like, how would you describe Azerbaijan? It's mix of things because based of the neighbors, like we've always been living happily like all together in that region, and that's why we've influenced each other. But what I can say that it has its own story, and the story is really interesting. I mean, I don't want to share the entire
Yeah.
go back to the history, but all I can say is at the moment for last 20 years we've been progressing a lot. We've progressed as a country, as a nation, as people. Our the name of the country been heard in international events and the global scene, and that makes me happy. And I think we still have so much to achieve and explore, but it's interesting to be part of this, to see the change, because when we got the independency as a country, it was completely new, and new in a sense for the global media, for the world. And the mission at the time was to explain, to share, to show who we are. And for last 30 plus years, we've been doing that. So I think the main like confusion what people get, like why sometimes they ask me, are we like part? Are we still part of some country? Which is obviously not. And do we
Which
have
is what? Sorry.
not like we are independent, and
Okay.
we have our own language. We've got 9 million people living in Azerbaijan, and more than 9 million now, and many other people living abroad. So at the moment, we are hosting great events over there. We are hosting Grand Prix. We've been hosting Islamic Games. We just hosted COP29, the climate change conference in November. So yeah, it's really progressive at the moment.
Okay. That sounds like a country where there are not that many people, but it sounds like everybody that is organized to collaborate with each other, and then the community is growing bigger and bigger.
Yes, yes, because yeah, because as I said, like we've been independent for
Yeah.
30 plus years, and since that, it's just all been we all had the mission to show ourselves. And I think it's in genetic of Azerbaijani people that we need to tell the world who we are, because
Yeah.
world haven't had much idea until really recently. But now I think everyone knows the country, and maybe they don't know much about the insights, but they have an idea of where it is, how it is, and how it looks like, how are the people. So hopefully in a couple of years it will be more and more.
Okay. And then where does this passion that you have for your country come from? Like, is it something that anyone in Azerbaijan has, or is it just like a special quality that you have and then you are so proud of it that you want to share it more with everybody?
I think at the beginning of the podcast we said that be yourself.
Yeah.
I always just all my life I said what I think, and I shared all the feelings I had. And
Mm-hmm.
I think what I feel for my country is so real that when I started my channel, I had no idea that I'm gonna speak about my country. It was like mental health. And then in one sentence I said, oh, maybe I'm the first Azerbaijani you met. And people were like, everyone was so surprised. And I was like, okay, this is really cool as well. So maybe I should continue with this, because uh, when you live abroad for quite a long time, you don't realize how authentic and how curious are, like how authentic where you are from, and how curious people are to know more. So yeah, I started to share, and the reaction that I received from my followers and my audience, and even just the people who just clicked on me, made motivated me more uh, and more passionate about this, because I have it in me. I always, without any cameras, been sharing about my country, about my cultures, even like about our people. I would always bring examples. I'm a storyteller.
Okay.
I would always tell a story about Azerbaijan, but then I ended up telling the stories to the camera, and that actually made me like really passionate, even like to learn more stories, because I think sometimes we can just share everything we know, but the passion is to learn more, develop more,
Yeah.
and to share it back to my audience.
I can confirm that you're a storyteller because right now I feel like I want to hear one of the best stories about Azerbaijan.
One of the best stories. I mean, Azerbaijani people known for hospitality. We
Mm.
are really warm. Azerbaijan is located on the coast of Caspian Sea, which is actually the biggest lake in the world, but it's called sea. But it doesn't have any exit to do any oceans, so that's why it's actually a huge lake. So we've all grown up in a city which has the coast, and I think people who've been raised next to the sea, they're really warm generally. So I think the hospitality, and maybe the funny story I'm gonna tell. I have this British friend. He traveled to Azerbaijan and he was staying over there. And then when he was leaving the house that he was staying in, the grandmother of one of our friends, she took a glass of water and threw it behind him. Like when he was leaving with the luggage, and he thought, "Oh my God, I think I definitely done something wrong if they throw water behind me." But it's actually in our tradition. It's for good luck and for safe journey, for blessing, for a bunch of stuff. And I've explained that to him, and this story been epic around my friends that. If you go to Azerbaijan, if someone throw water behind you, that means that they love you. But if they
Okay.
haven't, that's questionable.
That's question. Okay, then on my first trip to Azerbaijan, when one day I'm gonna just pay attention if anyone is throwing water or maybe tomatoes after.
Tomatoes. I mean, we love to make food
You
out
love
of
to.
tomatoes.
Okay.
Tomatoes is a big thing. I think Azerbaijan has the best tomatoes in the world. I've tried to find that in London.
Mm-hmm.
I've no success, but there is also great tomatoes here.
Great
But
tomatoes.
we don't throw them into people. We make great omelets out of tomatoes, which we call pomidor yumurta. So if you come to Azerbaijan, the first thing you're gonna have if you arrive with the morning flight, you're gonna have the tomato eggs. It's
Tomato eggs.
yeah, so it's basically bunch of butter, eggs, tomato, and the bread that we call tandir.
Okay.
So that's bread. They take it. It's a natural oven. It's not nothing like electronic. So this old ladies, they put that bread inside. It sticks into this tent. Like I don't know how to explain its mechanism. It's like basically made, I think, from a I don't know. It's like a sculpture.
Okay.
And yeah, and then they take it from there, and you eat for breakfast the tomato omelet, which is called pomidor yumurta, with that bread, and you always have some white cheese next to it. So you basically eat it with hands. You don't need any cutlery, and that's the best thing you can ever have.
I bet. But I don't eat eggs.
You don't?
No, I'm vegan, so
We're
I don't
gonna.
eat cheese.
You don't eat cheese as well.
No, but that's okay. Maybe I can try just the tomato.
But no.
It's not the same.
We can bring from London some fake eggs. Like I don't think we are in Azerbaijan. We are very friendly with vegans. But we
Okay.
can bring an. There is eggs for vegans. No, you can find a replacement in Hull. No,
There are
no,
no eggs for vegan.
no. I have it at home. It's like basically.
Oh, you mean the actual? Okay, I understand what you mean now. Okay.
It's like a flour and it gives the same taste.
Yeah. I thought that you actually meant the eggs itself for vegan. I'm like, no,
Well, the
eggs are
chicken
not
should
vegan.
be vegan then, but I don't think that's the case.
I mean, never say never. Nowadays they're like inventing everything. Like you have the meat the fake meat that is vegan that tastes like meat. You have many things.
Do you eat meat?
I don't eat meat. No.
Well, then I'm sorry for you. I mean, when you come to Azerbaijan, you gotta fast. You don't eat meat. You don't eat tomatoes. Sorry, you don't eat cheese. You don't eat bread. Then
Yeah.
oh wow. Then well, then no water for you when you leave.
No water for me, exactly. I mean, I need to check the tomatoes. At least I can eat them when I'm leaving.
Oh, I don't think the grandmothers will be happy with you.
Okay. Okay, so this is all your story, your love about Azerbaijan. Yeah.
Yeah.
But can you please guide us through your journey from Azerbaijan to London and yeah, like I don't know many people from Azerbaijan. Yeah, so I'm very curious to understand how is the actual journey. Is it something that you decided, or is it something that was decided with the family?
So I was, I mean, I always say maybe I'm the first Azerbaijan you met, but I was, I've moved to study. I moved to study, and it was for me kind of a big journey to achieve this because I've been in London before many times when I was a child because my mom used to work for British Airways. She was one of the first staff members from in British Airways office in Azerbaijan in late 90s. And I've grew up with my mom's stories about London. She used to travel a lot, and my dad been traveling since 98 as well. So I had this London dream. People usually have the American dream, but mine was British dream. But in Azerbaijan, so we are a very conservative country in a sense of the family concept. So my father was a bit my family, not just my father, was a bit quite worried about sending a young girl to UK on her own, which is understandable. But I mean, I'm trying actually to showcase my life here to show also that parents that it's okay to send a girl or a boy abroad on their own, but it comes from care. But I mean, I think nowadays with the phones and with the whole technology, you can be safe anywhere, and it's easy to stay in touch. So, yeah, it was quite a long journey to pitch London idea to my parents, to my family. I remember I made a presentation to my dad, like which called 10 reasons why Maryam needs to move to London. And the first reason was like, oh, she's gonna be in Forbes, or then she was like, she gonna be there, she gonna be this, she gonna have that. And I had like the 10 slides are completely different topics. And one of them, she gonna own restaurant. That, and my dad was told like, of course, this after this presentation, definitely no. And the first he sent me like I went to study to Istanbul. I studied in Istanbul in college for a year. I've done a fashion marketing course, and then we were still in the decision. So I was trying to convince, because I'm kind of a person I will never give up until I convince. Like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but in this case it was really good. Like that's why I'm here today. So I always say that if something doesn't work, try again, try again. But and until you understand that it's literally not gonna work. So I remember I got back from Istanbul and I told my dad that, oh, I want to introduce you to a friend. And this friend actually was the person who would organize all the study abroad things. And he come to the meeting. My dad arrived there, and the guy started to speak that, oh, it's so good to send these days kids to London. There's so much perspective. And my dad was like, why are you talking about this? I've come here just to say hi. And then he was so upset. He was like, you guys literally tricked me. He brought me here with the title of meeting a friend, and the friend started to
To pitch him
to
about
pitch a
London.
London
Yeah.
idea. So I've been pitching London ideas since I've been 13, I think. And at the end, I don't know how it happened. I think it's magic, and that's why I always say that believe in your dream. One day he just showed up. He said, "Okay, I'm giving up. You going here? You won. I believe in your idea." But I wanted to do a course, a bit more creative course, and he said that I think, I mean, you are. I've been doing art all my life, so he said that it's maybe better, so we can choose a better course for you, and then we agreed on a really interesting course that I've done in marketing and business. And then I moved, and it all just happened in 1 month. The pitch that been going on for 4 years got the investment in 25 days. So
That's
yeah,
perfect.
and then I moved. I was actually, my dad was here yesterday, and I was telling him that no one met me in Heathrow when I arrived. He was like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "How did you found university?" I'm like, I asked some people in the streets, and they gave me the way. He's like, "Oh, okay," and it just happened from zero. I moved here. I had. Uh, because in Azerbaijan it's really popular to use like cash money. It's like many people use still today cash, but in London it's complete, like you cannot even get a coffee, I guess. It's all card based. And I remember I had cash, and I needed to like find the university, I need to buy a coffee. No one would take that, accept the money. Then I found the way to open a bank account. So everything from zero. I haven't had a guideline how to move. So I've made it my way. Like I moved here, and I've just started to figure out, okay, A plus B makes C, the Z plus J makes J. I don't know, and I found my formulas, and I don't know if it's good or bad, but yeah, I did it my way.
Wow. I mean, clearly that's like a very incredible story because even if you have been to London when you're younger, you say with your parents,
Yeah,
yeah, there is a big difference compared to just like moving to London
of
and
course.
just starting a new life. Did you have anyone that you know at the time that was from Azerbaijan that you kind of like could relate to and then ask for help, or were you like one of the first people that you knew among your friends moving here in London?
So when I arrived, I had no idea. I didn't know anyone in this country. I literally was completely from scratch, and I I found this guy on Instagram, and he's a singer who is still my good friend, and I texted him on Instagram. I said, "Listen, I'm here. Do you want to have a dinner?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." And I was actually not living in London. I was living in Coventry because my university was in Warwickshire. So I took the train to London because, and also another funny fact, when I moved to UK, I thought my university was in London, but apparently it wasn't because I was so excited to move. But and they placed me. This university has had few locations, and they have London location, but they placed me into Warwickshire location. So I was literally out of London, but I was thinking that I'm actually coming to London. It's a really funny story. And then I texted this guy and I said that, listen, would you like to connect? Because I don't know much people here. Like, yeah, sure. And I took the train through from Coventry to London and we went for dinner here. And since that, actually, my London life started. He introduced me to many interesting people. I remembered one of the first weeks we've been just building the friendship. We went out and next table there were Naomi Campbell sitting
Oh
and
wow! So that was a very exciting moment for you. I
very
mean, from Azerbaijan to just
exactly
be in London, sitting to a table next to Naomi Campbell, that was just like wow.
shocking.
I love London. That's the place I wanna be.
Exactly. I was shocked. I
Yeah.
was from Baku, and I mean, in Baku, we don't have like, it's a very different, it's like very beautiful capital and everything, but we don't have this international format. It's really Azerbaijani. We've got expats, we got people who live there from abroad, but I would say 95% is Azerbaijani. So it's really touristic. People come and go, but the the citizens, they're all like Azerbaijani or they're from Georgia, from Russia, from all the former Soviet Union countries. And when I was sitting with him in the dinner, and I remember him telling me this really like, okay, like as it's normal, as it's buying a water, and like, oh, Naomi's actually just next table. I'll just go and say hi. And I was like, okay. And in my, like, I didn't show up. I didn't look like I didn't want to embarrass myself, but I was like a little child who it was like who was seeing it. Oh, I saw this old things on TV only when I was child, and I would never ever think that me, Maryam, will sit in a restaurant next table with the world's most famous model, and not just her. And then we started like my friend started to show me around London, and we would go to, because he's a artist, he's an artist. We would go to all these creative places that everyone from the industry would go, and every week there would be another person, and every week the expectation would go higher. Like I was expecting to I would like me I would see someone I saw like on third week I saw DiCaprio. And
Oh wow.
I like he was literally passing by, and the same friend he was like, oh, that's Leonardo. And this guy was like, I love him so much. He's my friend, and he was so like normal and quiet about this.
Okay.
While inside of me there were fireworks. I was like shocked. I had a massive. I've never thought that this happens, and it's a really different story. I know it doesn't happen to many people. I was at those times like London was also really happening. I would say in a sense of it was uh, before like the world like was just all the lockdowns, and the kind of the life was very different. It was more social. Nowadays people are a bit more introverted after COVID, post COVID.
Yeah.
So it was those times of London when everything was sparkling, and I remember like I was just every day was Studio 54 for me, and every day was a new memory, and it wasn't just the celebrity sitting next table. It was that I would meet a person, just not a celebrity, just a normal. We are all normal people, and the person would tell me a really unique story. Like even if they're like whenever whatever they do, whoever they are, wherever they're from, every week I would meet someone super interesting, and every week something would change. Like someone would have been from Canada, someone would have been from New Zealand, from Europe, Italy, and all these new people and all these interesting life stories would actually make me surprised. And I was at the time, I mean, compared, if I look to that girl, that was a child for me. Like she was completely no life experience, no nothing. First months on her own in London
Yeah.
and in UK, and yeah, every day, every week would be like I was excited. I was like, it was like a Netflix series for me. I would look up to what's gonna happen this week.
Yeah, I mean, clearly your lifestyle, your understanding, your experience change from the first time that you came
Yeah,
in London. Yeah, and from what you are telling me, the Maryam that you are today is not anymore the same person that came from back home.
of course.
But I can still see that even if your lifestyle clearly changed and then drastically changed, you haven't lost that kind of like energy, that kind of like passion of like for discovering things. And then how do you keep that energy inside of you?
I think that's a little child in me, that the little Mariam that's so curious about everything. I love to learn. I develop every day. Like if Monday I don't learn something, that's for me an unsuccessful day. And I showed you a message earlier. Like I have a great team, and one of the guys, he's a really close friend as well, but we work together. Sometimes in the morning he will text this message to me that, you, let's do it, create talent, vision. I think it's something that I have. I was speaking about this to my dad yesterday, that I have it genetically, I would say, because I'm coming from two really ambitious and extroverted parents. Like they're like, I don't even know how they managed to marry at the time, because they're both like this. They're both fireworks. My dad is a firework and my mom is a firework. And of course you would expect me to be firework as well. So I think I had that thing in me all the time, and I love discovering things. I love discovering people. I love finding finding mice in the world, like, because we're all here to find what belongs to us, what belongs to us physically, what belongs to us mentally, emotionally, and to find that, that's actually my motivation. That's what makes me excitement, that I will find something new. I will find something, some new story, some new sentence, some new information, some new book, new cafe, uh, new place. Like even when we entered here today, I was so excited. I love to see new things.
Yeah, you love to see new things. I don't know why, for some reason, when you were telling me this, I kind of like felt it can it can also come from let me put this one in the right way. Okay. I kind of like felt it can come also from a cultural thing.
Mhm.
And it just made me like think about how Azerbaijan, I mean, how do you call the people from Azerbaijan?
Azerbaijanis.
Azerbaijanis.
Yeah,
That sounds very Spanish, by the way.
really.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
How Azerbaijanis will actually like approach life in terms of like philosophy. Is there any kind of like quote from your country which you love so much and then you're living today by that quote?
I think there are so many from there, but I might have my own personal favorite quote.
Okay.
It's whatever we don't change, we choose.
Whatever we don't change,
We
we
choose.
choose.
So, and it's basically, if we don't change something, we choose that, and then we complain. But actually, we are always complaining about our own choice. So that's why it's important to analyze and analyze yourself. When you analyze yourself, you understand what needs to be changed. It's basically, we are like a puzzle, like a construction, like a Lego. And to build the right building, we need to know where it needs to be like done, where it needs to be completed more, what needs to be actually just removed. So if we analyze ourselves, we understand that. And Azerbaijani people, we are. I think it comes from I was born in a really conservative family, and in my entire family line, I think I'm the only person who is having this lifestyle that I have, in a sense of living abroad on their own, working, trying to do things in a sense, because I'm speaking about the female part of my family, and uh, I've grown up seeing it's a really family oriented place, Azerbaijan. Like, people marry, everyone is like the big families, everyone is nice with each other. There, there's a big family concept, like traditions. Uh, People usually like always together. They meet every week. There is a strong relationship between kids and parents, grandparents. So that's what I've been seeing. But for me, it was always interesting to see more than that, because that's great. I love that, and I have a bunch of friends who are following that life back home, and they're happy. But I was like, I need to explore everything. I cannot just. This is great. I love it. This is inherited to me. My mission is to showcase the the love and everything that I've got from Azerbaijan, because I was born there. I mean, I can never say something that. I mean, there is a big role of the country as well. I'm Azerbaijani, and that's also who is Maryam, and the country gave me a lot, and people gave me a lot. So that's a different thing, but they're also the world that I like to explore, and I'm still on probably like 7% out of 100.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And what's your final goal? I mean, what do you want to achieve with all of these? Because clearly, and I love to put this one together because you were born in Azerbaijan. You had the opportunity to see London when you were younger. You had to fight with your parents to convince them to come here in London. Then you managed to come here, and then there is a world that just opened to you. And then, even if you don't live anymore in Azerbaijan, you still have like your heart there. And then from being here in London, you're kind of like being a very strong advocate and ambassador for your country because you want people to know more about your country. But what's actually your final goal? I mean, what do you want to achieve with all these actions that you're having, with all these experiences that you're having?
And to be very honest, if you're speaking about as you said, advocating Azerbaijan and promoting, and just not even promoting, just sharing the thoughts, I don't know what's the final goal over there.
Okay.
It's just happening, and I receive so much love. I think I always like to do everything that I can give love and take love back, like to exchange love. Like, in a sense of what I do now, I receive so much beautiful love, words from people, and I give it back. So we exchange. And I think for me, it's important that until like I can be inspirational and can share my story with them and keep sharing. I mean, there's no final destination with this, but always to go global. Like, I wanna do many things. Like, as I always say, I wanna have like fund for girls over in Azerbaijan, or for just to study for universities. Like, because in all the countries there is always different financial levels of people, but I want to be in a state to help anyone to study where they want. Let's help girls to study where they want, have the degrees. And also I'd like to do film festivals, like to not just to actually speak about it, but also show actions. So obviously it's all about financial side, but I'm sure in a matter of time I will be able to launch some bigger projects in this bigger scale about Azerbaijan, which are going to be physical. So, I mean, I don't want to share all my ideas now, but there is also a bunch of things going in my head. But in right time and right place, it will happen. But I will start, as I said, with some probably film festival, and also I've launched a magazine called 30 Azerbaijan under 30, 30 as a 30. So it's very similar format of Forbes 30 under 30, but we haven't ever had that. It's a bit different to that, but it's just basically to showcase talented young people in Azerbaijan. We are sharing their stories, we are sharing what they do, and it's open platform. It's free. It's free for all Azerbaijanis. They can apply, and unfortunately, for each month, we are getting only limited amount of people and limited stories, but people are applying, and I think we've launched it in 3 weeks ago, and now we are on 10,000 leads. So
Wow.
we're
In
gonna
3 weeks, 10,000 leads.
it's 8,900, but we are very close to 10. I'm not, let's say 10, because I'm not sure exactly how much it is, but it's really close to 10 than 5, so it's 10.
Okay. And how do you actually got to that number?
I
I mean,
think
how did you reach so many people in so short time?
I think my platform, because I speak about this there a lot, and I also have really hardworking team. Shout out to Malik and Hanum. These guys, they work with me and they're super talented Azerbaijani young generation. And actually, I met them in a really funny way. I met Hanum in the plane. She approached me in the plane from London to Azerbaijan. And I met Malik on locals. Actually,
Okay.
I was doing an event in London. I always host events called Strong Minded Community on Locals. And he created locals while being in Azerbaijan and registered into event in London. And then he texted me last minute. He said, "You know what? Actually, I'm not in London, but I really want to be there. That's why I registered. I'm like so sorry, but I'm not physically there. But if you're gonna be in Baku, let's meet." And I like the dedication that a person living in another country goes, downloads an app. It's whole like it's a process. Like you need to, because I mean, you're gonna really want to do that and pass all that, and then goes to events, like finds the right link on my Instagram, and I just loved the whole motivation. And then I was like, "I'm coming to Baku. Do you want to work with me?" And he's like, "Of course." And I'm like, "Perfect."
Wow, it's incredible how a platform like Locals can actually change people's life.
100%. And if it wouldn't be on, because the Malik who currently is like working with me, we're working full time together, he texted me on other platforms as well. But my other platform's been managed by another team. So I don't really, I read messages when I have free time, but unless it's not something personal, because sometimes people can be also negative. So I try to not to give my energy too much, because I need to have a source to create, and source of creations comes only from positive.
That's true.
So he texted me there, and I've never seen it. Actually, the locals made me. It's because I didn't had in London events. We have maybe sometimes up to 30 people. So it was really obvious to read the message, and it was really cute. So yeah.
So, guys, we're gonna be sharing under this video the link to download Locals.
Exactly.
If you're interested in joining this community, it's an amazing worldwide community where you can create events, you can meet new people, and yeah, you're gonna find more details in the comments.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great platform. Even funny fact, like I had my locals meeting with my followers. I don't like the word followers. Let's say my people, and we met last week, 2 weeks ago, and one lady, she had no idea that she didn't knew how we're gonna look like. So she came with a Azerbaijani flag, and she was standing in the middle of Victoria with a flag, so we can recognize her. And yeah, this is not just an Azerbaijani community; it's open for everyone. We have people from all over, and people are keep joining. Unfortunately, I don't have so much time now to building and like working on it, but it's in my to-do list to expand the community as much as possible on locals. So my next meetup gonna be very soon.
Maryam, I'm so happy that we had this episode together. I'm so happy to even learn a bit more about you, learn a bit more about the people from Azerbaijan, and then congratulations on your new magazine and project that you launched in your country. We are almost towards. I mean, we're already at the end and of the podcast, and then I'm so curious to understand what will be the best advice you will give to anyone, not just from Azerbaijan, but from anyone that is coming from a country which is not that popular, that well known in the world, but they're trying to pursue the dreams like you. What would be the best advice you can give to them in order to don't give up and then to just keep chasing and then believe in themselves?
Knowing what you want, or seeing yourself as you'd like to seeing your best version and being brave enough to accept that there's still so much time to go and work to do to become that, and being fearless in that process and continue every day imagining and dreaming about your future and understanding that what you're doing right now, it's the road towards there, and the road gonna take so much time. It's all our the road is all the life, and we will never, I think, be 100% that person, but at least we can always get closer and to getting close to best version of ourselves. It requires so much effort. It requires days, nights, and it requires energy. And to find that energy, you need to be nice to yourself as well. Love yourself. So it's basically, if I need to summarize it in one sentence, always see yourself, your future self, see best version of yourself, accept that you are in the journey towards there, which you will actually never reach, but the journey is presence is fearless, and presence needs to be brave, cool. Work on that and stay in this process true to yourself, love to yourself, but understand that it's going to take all your life.
Wow. Wow. That's actually one of the best quote and finals. Final advice that I heard recently, because I always, and then we all of us, we always hear about how to just picture yourself who you wanna be, work towards that person, and become that person. But you changed the game today. You changed the game, saying you will never become that person, but you wanna become closer to that person. And then actually understand what you mean. What you're saying is like you will never be satisfied for achieving one thing, because you're gonna constantly be changing, and then with you also your goal is gonna be changing.
Of course.
Yeah.
And if you look back, the 6 months before, 6 months ago, it's not you. And I look at myself yesterday from 6 months ago, and my friend was like, "Oh, you look like a child there." I'm like, "Yeah, because like I change every 6 months."
Yeah.
And I'm sure and I didn't look physically as a child, probably the way I was speaking. And every 6 months, every month we change, and it's just we need to understand and accept and be nice to ourselves. We are
Yeah.
so harsh, but it's good to be harsh sometimes.
100%.
Not
Thank you
always.
very much, Maryam, for being
Thank you for
here today
inviting.
with us. Thank you guys for watching this episode. Please, I'm gonna share down in the comments Maryam details. So if you wanna be in contact with her, you wanna ask her any question about Azerbaijan, or even if you wanna travel to Azerbaijan, at least you can reach directly to her. And thanks again for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting. And I hope that the willpower will reach many, many people. And I think it's a really powerful platform to have, because people are power, and sharing stories is even more powerful. Thank you.
Thank you.